Hello, friends. My name's host Eric, and I'm here with Susanna on camera. And we got MacTub, Mind Capacitor, No Name, and the bot in attendance as well. I was asked a question here in the chat by Mind Capacitor who says, Eric, I was wondering whether your 8th slot SE contributes to you being oblivious to your emotions, additionally to your 7th slot FI. I think it's a good question. It's not a question it's not a link I had tried to make before. So it's basically saying, is there a link or can you link interpretively or conceptually SE and FI? Well, here's the thing. The answer is probably yes, but it's not so much the quality of SE as it is a quality related to the fact that you have a dominant perceiving function, a dominant extroverted perceiving function, because both ESTP and ENTP have 7th slot FI, and both ENFP and ESFP have 7th slot TI. So let's look at the relationships between what's happening there conceptually and see how it plays out. With an ESTP, you've got extroverted sensing first, acting in the physical world. So it's taking action first. And then they've got 8th slot NE. For them, it's a loose cannon to come up with new possibilities. It's not something they do naturally. They're too busy taking actual action to take metaphysical action. But they get the notion of metaphysical action because, just like I sort of get the notion of physical action, even though I don't really know how to do it at all, they get the idea because they know about action very well. I know about action very well too. It's just a planes issue. So regardless, in both cases, you've got somebody who's taking action first and foremost, and then their 8th slot function is the other kind of action. Now, if you look at an ESFP, their action and then 8th slot action is followed up by FI. When that's the case, it's like if you start with SE and then you go to FI, it's going to be like act, feel it. Act, feel it. And then a lot of times concurrently, right? Act and feel, act and feel, act and feel. And then if you want to reflect, you go feel, and then you go back to act and feel, act and feel, act and feel. All right, now for ENFP, same thing, except it's metaphysically act, thinking. It's like imagine, create in your head, and intuit basically. Intuit, feel. Intuit and feel. And then later on, when they're just sort of not being quite so busy, they go feel. And that's them, okay? So now let's look at where the 7th slot one is. So act and feel means you're not checking for consistency. Because they go, I'm an ESFP. I'm acting in the physical world. I'm feeling. And then in the 8th slot, I'm making some meaning about it. So I've got all of my limbs involved. All of my limbs are involved in the process cognitively. There's no cognitive limb, or there's no cognitive energy left to make that extra, like, vestigial arm that you never use that just kind of like hangs there, which is your 7th slot one. There's no energy in you left to even begin to check for consistency. You've got all of your resources devoted towards act and feel, with your 8th slot going make meaning, and then your 3rd slot hidden agenda being for them make shit happen in the world, make shit happen in the world, rather than not just make meaning, but make shit happen in the world too. And then there's nothing left to check for consistency. It's just there's no attention left for it. That's what it boils down to. You've used it all up. And what happens with the ENTP, coming back to the original question, is I'm making meaning. I'm checking for consistency. Checking. I'm making meaning. So like shit comes into my eyes, I make meaning about it immediately. I check those meanings against logical consistencies and stuff. In the eighth slot function, occasionally I'll just sort of randomly do something based on those meanings and thinkings, which I can't really control at all. Loose cannon. And then after that, I will go to my hidden agenda, or sort of the underlying motivation of everything, which is remember, we're doing all this shit to make people like you. At the end of all of that stuff, there simply isn't any attention left. Is that still playing for everybody? It's going to come out on the footage then. Oh no, it won't on my end. I forgot I'm on OBS. So that I think is how they relate, to the sense that my SE fires off randomly doing shit. The fire off randomly doing shit, it's like, gosh, I have almost no attention left for you, but I have to leave you turned on because you'll do something and I need you involved, but I can't be paying attention to you, so you have to have like low levels of expectations for you. Look, Joey here, he's on the team, he sucks ass, but occasionally he's going to contribute something. We're just going to be grateful for that, and if he stays out of the way the rest of the time, we're going to be happy to have him here and treat him well and say, welcome to the team, buddy. You know, it's like that kind of function, my eighth slot function. So if I were to spend a lot of time feeling things, FI works very similarly for me, so the loose cannon function. And I believe in my personal instance, but not in ENTPs in general, I sort of taken from my SE half of the thing that SE gets and given it to FI. So I'm half as SE as I should be, which is not very SE anyway. And then I get a little more FI. I mean, I think I get a considerable amount more FI than most ENTPs, but you know, a little more than nothing, basically. So it's not a matter of we don't have feelings, not a matter of we don't feel deeply. It's a matter of we don't have any time left to pay attention to it because our attention is all directed towards other things. Thoughts, comments, questions, concerns, queries, or complaints? That's a really good point, my capacitor. I hadn't thought about that at all. He says here, or she, I forget who this person is. My thought was based on the observation that I sometimes think that I know what emotion I experience by recognizing a specific pattern of bodily responses and not by experiencing the emotion itself. Oh, you mean, I can't find capacitor. So what he just said there is, sometimes I think I know what an emotion is because I'm feeling one. And I might be mistaking the feeling I'm experiencing for an emotion. That is it. That's all it is, dude. It's that feeling in your chest and shit. That's all there is to it. There's nothing more there. That's it. Except if you were really good at it, I guess, you do something with it. I don't know. To me, it's the good kind of like physical experience of feeling. I seek that, and I avoid the bad kind. And there's two kinds for sure. I know that. I know because I both cry and laugh. Yeah, but that's it. There's nothing more there. You can't figure anything out about it because there's nothing to figure out. That's why it drives us insane too, because look, we're trying to make meaning first and check for consistency. Okay, here's this bodily experience. Let's check it for meaning. There's no meaning there. It's not consistent with anything. What is this shit anyway? Get it out of the way. It doesn't really seem to help me make them like me. It's not. What the fuck is this purposed for? Right? That's what happens to us early on in life because we're making meaning, we're checking for consistency, we're making sure it's consistent also with two things logically and with you guys liking me. And then occasionally we're firing off random actions, and then we're like sort of dreading the fact that we have to keep track of all this shit. That's SI. And then, we're unconsciously but very occasionally powerfully using NI to know the truth without really knowing what we're doing there, but respecting it, but liking it. There's just nothing left for this little thing inside that makes you feel warm. Who the fuck cares, right? I can feel warm by putting on another jacket. Except it's delightful, is what it is. It's delightful and precious. That's what FI is. It's the feeling that something's precious. Like, oh my gosh, you guys, this is adorable. I love it. That's FI. Any other comments or things, anything, statements or words of wisdom from the assembled personages? No, then thank you for watching Talking with Faith People. And please, recuerdo a comer demasiado queso. Recuerdo a comer demasiado queso. Recuerdo a comer demasiado queso. I've been here, Puerto Rico.